This was a commercial audition. I walked in, it was like, I think it was when video calls were just now starting to happen. And and the guy was getting up off a toilet and he has to get to his phone very quickly to get his video chat. I had this planned out, Karen. I was like, oh, okay, I got it. I know how to fall. I was like, I was gonna pull my pants down. I had shorts on. I was like, I'm gonna sit down in the chair. When I get up, I'm gonna slip a little bit and I'm gonna fall, jump right back up, boom. It was funny. The dude laughed. All of that happened. I got up, I fell to the ground, got back up, put my pants on, got on the video chat, looked at the phone. I was like, hey guys, what's up? So when I fell, I landed wrong on my hand. And I landed like this and my fingers touched the back of my forearm. I was in agonizing pain. I think I had broke my hand. The entire time I didn't show it though, because I really needed this doggone audition. I needed to book this. So I fall, and as soon as I fall, I'm like, I get back up and I'm like, hey guys. And the dude behind the camera has no clue yet. And he's like, yeah. So I was like, hey guys, what's going on? He was like, that was really good, dude. And I was like, thank you. He was like, that's all we'll need. I walk out, immediately I have to go to urgent care. I call my wife, I'm like, I think I've broken my hand. It's the biggest failure because I did not book this job. It's my experience being from Alabama that has shaped my heart. And also being Black from Alabama and being from the hood, I thought I had to act white in order to get on stage. And so those things, those experiences of being from the hood and then I went to an art school and then having a teacher tell me, you can't talk like that if you want to be on this stage. And me not understanding really what she was saying. Like, I think her intentions were good, but it really messed me up as a 14-year-old. I was like, but I want to just be who I am. And she was like, no, you can't be that. And so I was like, so I gotta talk white? Because that's what that meant to me. But it wasn't. She was just like, she was trying to give me different options. I don't think the teacher went about it the right way, but those experiences started to shape my heart and how I interact with people and how I move with compassion and how I tried to move with understanding. I got to an experience of being taught how to do the King's speech or the King's language in this art school where I was the only Black male in the theater program. And so as everything that I was learning, I was the only one that I couldn't bounce up against another Black man from 7th grade until 10th grade to see what art was like, what was theater like. There was a lot of examples there, but they were all white men and some Black women. And it was when I went to a Black art school one summer. I went to Alabama State and I did an art program. That experience showed me, oh, I'm not like this dude. He is so good at this. He can sing, he could dance, he could perform. And it was when I saw other people that looked like me up against myself, I was like, I'm special. Like, it's in how I talk. It's in my movement. It's in, oh, you view this situation like this. This is my take on it. And then I just continued down that path. When I went to grad school, my voice started to shake because I understood how important it is, me being from Alabama, because I met this guy from Detroit. And then I met this Black guy from Detroit. Then I met this Black guy from Texas. Then I met this Black woman that went to Spelman. And we all lived so differently in our Blackness that it helped bring it, that I was like, if I don't sit in who I am and how special I am, I'm going to get lost because I'm gonna try to be like this dude and that's not me. But it was because all of us said so specifically and just my Black is nuanced and how I move. It was just a beautiful thing. My cousin called me and he was like, hey, I'm about to go to this thing. You can come up and you can do 5 minutes of something. And I'm about to go, do you wanna go? And I was like, yes, this is in Los Angeles also. I was like, I would love to. It was like a club setting, everybody come in, sign your name up on the list and do your thing. Well, I thought I was gonna be spectacular. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do this real dramatic monologue, and I'm gonna knock the house down. There was some comedians that went up, some people were singing. It's like a variety show. People were doing whatever they wanted to do. Went up there, I did this monologue, and it was super dramatic, and I was really into it. And then it was a complete failure. And there was nothing, no one felt anything. I felt everything. I realized when I walked out of there that I had misread the entire moment. And what I thought was going to be something that was going to be amazing was only amazing for me. And I was like, why did I feel that I could just impose my will on this thing that's happening right here? And I didn't read the room. I didn't take into account, oh, this is the thing. And as an actor, all of that stuff is important. You can't just do, and especially when it's live too, you can't just do this thing in a vacuum. It's like I need the energy, and all of this stuff is mattering at this moment. And this was this wasn't a rehearsed theater experience. It was just like that. I went home and I immediately, I got out of there because I just felt so bad. And then I went home, I was crying because everything in my body told me that I was not doing the right thing. But the thing in my head that was like, you got this. And like that ego was just pushing me, you got it. And at that moment, I realized, yo, I need to be more aware of what's happening around me, as well as being aware of what I want to put out there. Be ready to move. Life, just like life happens at any point, you got to be ready to step aside and say, oh, or stop, or pause, or run. And I was trying to hold it and say, this is what I'm doing. Yep. LA was super difficult for me. I came here with a lot of potential, but I couldn't get into any rooms. Nobody wanted to see me. And then I went to Oregon to do Shakespeare. And when I went to Oregon to do Shakespeare is when really, that was truly my adult training ground, because I was still in grad school and I got out and I thought I was like just amazing actor and I should be on television every day. And then I realized that ain't how this industry works. And then I went to Oregon, and then it taught me, like, you really gotta, if I wanna be the craftsman that I wanna be, I gotta get into this thing and I gotta understand it and I gotta be aware. And I saw Trombone Shorty, when I saw him in Oregon just at a concert, he was playing his trumpet and I went to sleep. I went to sleep. I woke up and he was still playing and sweating and his shirt was off. And it was that moment that taught me, Karen, that I was like, I had a great time at that concert. And because I went to sleep did not take anything away from Trombone Shorty. He stayed up there. His money was already made. He kept giving life to the entire concert, everyone that was there. I fell asleep because the music was washing over me. And it was at that moment that I was like, why am I always worried about the people in the audience? Why am I always worried about if they're coughing and what that means, or if they got to get up and go use the bathroom, what that means? So after I walked out of there, I no longer was worried about what the audience thought. It was about what I was like, what I had to do as an artist. Like, this may be the best thing that you've ever seen that's happening up here. I'm a part of that. That's great. This may be the worst thing that you've ever seen. That's also great. My validation was no longer held by them. And so then I met some people in Oregon, then that introduced me to some people here in Los Angeles. You being one of those people that I met just from my trip in Oregon. And LA started to happen. I got into my first room, and the first audition I went on here for theatrical, I went straight to producers. And I didn't book that thing. I got really close. And then the second room I went into, I booked for this show on Disney. And that was the start of my television career right there. There was one time in college where I refused to audition for a scholarship. And I walked in, and I really, the truth of the matter is that I didn't know, I wanted to do a new monologue and I hadn't worked on it. But I had already been at the school for 3 years. And so this was my last time to get a scholarship and we had to audition for it. I walked in and I told them, I walked in front of all of them, all of the panel, and I said, I'm not gonna do this. My monologue became the reason why I'm not about to do a monologue for you all. I walked out and it took a lot. I felt like I was I felt stronger. But then one of the professors, he wasn't there. My mentor that was, that the one that I really wanted to say this in front of was not there. And he said, I don't care, I would have made you do it. And that moment is what changed me, because I was like, I respect that. The same professor also told me, if they're not saying no, then you're not auditioning. That changed my life as well, because I was like, I gotta get used to it. That's gonna be something that's going to happen countless times in this business. And so that's the advice I give young actors. Whenever they say, hey, what do I need to do? You need to audition, and if they're not saying no, you're not doing enough of it. I may not be right for what they got right there. That's the thing that I'm cool with now. But I want you to remember after I walk out, remember me after you walk out this room. That's all I'm there to book. That role, it's so many different reasons why it wouldn't come to me. But the one reason that it would, because he came in, he just did him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did, whoever he was, I like what he did with that. I always fall into something where people are like, we weren't even looking for you, but you did some new stuff that we had to shift it and move it. I think I tend to do, because I live so fully in like how I move in the world. If they call me in for the gangster, you get this smiling gangster. You know what I'm saying? And it's not what they're usually looking for, but I'm like, I'm not about to like try to do this thing where because at the end of the day, I want to be able to go into a space, if I do book the job, and be honest. I try to keep all of my focus within myself. Early in my career, my focus was put on other people and what they were doing. And oh, this person's studying their lines, should I be doing that? Or this person's listening to music, should I be doing that? I don't pull my lines out because it starts to make me more nervous when I pull my lines out and I start looking at them and I'm trying to it's like I'm trying to cram the stuff into my head too fast. I just sit there and I breathe. I sit there and I breathe. So I try to imagine what could happen in the room, knowing that when I walk in there, everything's gonna be different. I don't pull my stuff out until I'm about to go, just so that I'm ready when I walk into the room. And I'm calm. Like, I just try to remain as calm as possible. Sometimes I won't listen to music, but sometimes I'll like bob to a little song that's in my head, just so at all times I'm able to relax and not be stiff. As soon as I get out, I ball it up in my car. I'm like, that's done. I'm not about to dwell, because I've had the moments where I dwelled and it bothered me and I was like, but I was so right and I should have did this. And I was like, that's torture. And so I was like, nope, I throw it away immediately. As long as I feel like I did everything in that room, I put my best self out there, I'm good. I had to audition with 4 kids. And it was a moment that I've never had before in my life, where I'm in this room with these kids and I really felt that they are the ones that booked me, these 4 kids. The level of comfort that they showed, the level of like professionalism, and they were like 7 and 8 years old. I feel kids tell the truth. I mean, when you're in front of the camera, there's different things that are happening. These kids are really good and they're performers, but we all were trying to get this part. And they looked at me and all of a sudden we became a family right in front of each other. And that was the best audition that I've ever had, because that started my career, but we also looked at each other and said, I need you, without even voicing it. we understood that there was a need that was happening, that was like, yo, if we want to get this part, how do we connect? What is the chemistry here? Who is the leader? Who is the next one? Like, we really start to fall into different, as writing, like the dialogue that we had was writing itself, and we were improvising. And so it was like, wow. And I walked out and I was just like, they did that. Like, and to see, and to me be at the level that I am, and then see that these kids were able to do the exact same thing was amazing. There's some things that are in me that I actually want to do, but fear is holding me back from that. So it's like I haven't made my biggest mistake because I'm afraid. At the end of the day, I want to work with somebody that I would enjoy working with. You could be talented in there as anything, but if I don't like working with you, I'm gonna be like, nah, sorry, dog, I'm good. There was a time where I was on one set and it just felt like I can't wait to leave here. And so it was my goal to never allow if I have the chance to be in a position of leadership where I can control my energy, and also like, hey, when you come into here, this is what I want it to feel like. I was like, I'm going to put out the best type of vibes that I can. I understand actors. I understand that we can get into our process. But at the end of the day, we all go home. Like, at the end of the day, this is just acting. And I totally understand that, to a point where it's like, you got to take care of yourself, bro. Like, don't let this be the whole thing. I understand that this is our livelihoods, but I gotta go home to this little girl of mine that I got, and I'm not about to allow you to mess up my day. You know what I'm saying? There's so many outlets to create your own work right now. Like, writing is the thing that I feel like gives you the most power. And I say that not now, I need to write a lot more, because you get to, it's thought to paper, and this is the thing that's like, hey, I have this in my hand. This is the thing that I want to produce and put into the world. And we all have a story. And I say that as a person that also needs to tell more of his story.